Hello, welcome to the Battlement Gaming and another terrain crafting video. In this, I want to make a castle, mainly because I love castles. During the past few videos, I've been utilising the Warhammer Fortress sort of setup. I thought it looked good, but there was something missing, and in my opinion, that is a keep in the middle. So decided to make a castle keep, and when it comes to sort of looking at keeps, I think a Norman keep would be the one to go for. Just this sort of fairly straight rectangle castle keep. And so, having decided that, there are three that come to mind when I think of Norman keeps. One I'm going to rule out instantly, and that's the Tower of London. That just doesn't suit. But the other two are Rochester Castle and Rochester Castle, both of which I've lived sort of a stone's throw away from within my life, and one of them I still live really near to nowadays. So looking at Rochester Castle, it will be the simplest to make, but which is a positive, but at the same time that's a bit of a negative because it would be a bit boring. It's just literally a rectangle of stone, so that'd be quite simple to make. So I'm leaning towards Rochester. And plus, Rochester has an interesting history which I can like to incorporate into this video. Looking at Rochester, it's one of the tallest keeps in the country. I think only the Tower of London's bigger, so that's interesting. It's got four sort of towers on the sides. It has a four building, which has a collapsible entranceway. Wooden entranceway just outside the door for extra security, so I'm going to incorporate that into it. It also has a walkway that, even though it's not there now, it used to have a guardhouse with two portcullises for extra security that we're going to make. Also, when it comes to choosing Rochester Castle, I'm an English Heritage member, and so I've visited it many times over the years, so I've also got a couple of guidebooks. I think this is the earlier one from late 90s to early 2000s. This one's somewhat recent, so I got these to use as a reference for the castle. So yeah, that is effectively what we're going to be looking at making. So I'm going to make this project based on Rochester Castle, but before 1215, because in Rochester Castle, for me, is quite an important castle in English history. The Magna Carta, King John and the barons getting him to sign the Magna Carta, they thought his power was getting, they wanted to sort of define what his power was with the Magna Carta, and during this time there was a bit of a sort of disagreement between the King John, and his barons regarding this. And then in October 1215 there was the barons took Rochester Castle, and the king laid siege to it during the disagreement. And it was during this time, because it went on from the 11th of October to the 30th of November, so it's quite some time. The nice thing about Rochester Castle is, during the siege, it had its own well within the castle, so they had access to fresh water at least, or water, I don't know how fresh you'd call it. Food, on the other hand, was probably getting a bit scarce, but what happened to end the siege? John ordered the fat from 40 pigs, and got some sappers to tunnel under Rochester Castle, and they used the fat to basically melt the floor and bring down one of the towers. So now when you look at Rochester Castle, because a few years later it was rebuilt, the tower that was collapsed was rebuilt, but its castle technology had moved on, so it was built in a circular fashion, as this was stronger for taking trebuchet blasts, so it could withstand trebuchet blasts better. So it's got a round, one of the towers is round. So in this build we're not going to do that, we're going to take it back to before 1215. So it's going to have four rectangle towers, it's going to have the full building, it's going to have the wooden collapsible, although in this model it's not, it's going to be glued into place, walkway. It's going to have the guardhouse with two portcullises and the stairs going round. Also, what isn't there now is it has a roof the castle had a roof, so it was an M-shaped roof, which is not there now, it's just open to the elements. So we're going to put that into place. It's not going to be an exact 2-scale replica, because, as we'll see in a minute, I want it to fit within the Warhammer Mighty Fortress, so that's going to govern how the size I've got. So it's going to be something that's sort of inspired or based upon Rochester Castle. So that's enough of me waffling. Let's get building. So the first thing I want to do is set up the castle and just measure the internal space I've got here. It's Hugo, just for good measure. I just want to see how much internal width is and how high I need to make it. So I'm just sort of setting it up and working out now. So after setting up the castle and just roughly working out how big it's going to be, I sort of decided to sort of work out some more accurate numbers. So I'm using this picture as reference. And so what I decided, we're going to make it 20 centimeters long. So looking here, I can see this tower here is 1 centimeter, so I'm using that as a rough guide. The internals here are 3, and that's 1. So that gives me 5 divided by 20 is 4. So that means the tower is going to be 4 centimeters. This is going to be 16, and this is going to be 4, giving me 20. So once I've got that, and I can do just something similar with the height here. So once I've got that, I can come over to this graph paper and just plot it out. So 2 squares here is 4 centimeters. So that's, see, I've got 5 across here, and I've just used this to work out the height. This section here will be this gateway entrance here, and whilst I wanted it about 30 centimeters, it's now going to be 32.5 centimeters. So from here to the top here is 28, so that's this bit here, so that'll be 28 from here. And the tower is going to be 4.5, so I worked out, looking here, it's 1.5 centimeters, so they're going to be 4.5. This bit will be an extra 4 centimeters, so it will actually be 24 centimeters with this gatehouse here, wide, but 20 centimeters long, so that's still not too bad. That's acceptable. Yeah, so just worked out some measurements here, and the other thing I've done is worked out the crenellations. So this is 16 centimeters, so that'll be this bit here. I just went to 1, work out the crenellations, and 2, work out the height it's going to be. So we've got Hugo here, and kind of want them roughly sort of based on the scale of the keep it's going in, but I'm not too worried about making it exactly the same, because the thing with castles was they were added to over time and had different architectural styles. An example being, I've already mentioned, is Rochester Castle with its round tower here, which is the one you can't see, it's back here, so that was added later on rather than square. So yeah, it's 16, so they're going to be sort of 2 centimeters wide with a centimeter gap, except for on the end where they're going to be 1.5 centimeters just to make them fit in. So yeah, and that will allow me now to not have to worry when I begin to cut stuff out, which we can get to now. And then I realised I've got the towers to go on. These are going to be 4 centimeters. We've got 20 centimeters here, but they're going to be 4 centimeters, but jut out sort of the thickness of the XPS, which is, let's say, 0.5 centimeter. So in reality it's going to be 21 centimeters wide, which this just wouldn't work for up here. So I've changed the pattern. So in the middle we have, the size is still the same, but in the middle we have crenellation, gap, crenellation, and this big long, what would this be, about 5 centimeters, yeah. So then the tower would come here and here, leaving it with much the same situation where this end bit is free. But see, always good to plan before you cut. It's got 4 bits cut out, 2 bits that are 20 centimeters long, but 2 other bits, what you're going to need to do is make the thickness of 2 bits of foam, so in this case 12 centimeters, as they will fit in between the other 2, and then that total width there will be 20 centimeters. So now it's on to cutting out the crenellations. To do that, I've just put a guideline at 1.5 centimeters down. That's what our plans said to do. So yeah, that's nice. And then just mark top and bottom 10 centimeters in. And to do this, I'm just going to come in bottom first and put a mark there of 1, mark there of 2, mark there of 1, and a mark there of 2, and a mark of 1. Do the same here, so 1, mark 2. Actually, I think I've gone too much there, so gone totally wrong on the bottom, so let me do that again. So you come in, find your central, put a mark in, put a marker 1, a marker 2 and a marker 1 and join these up. I've had a terrible time doing these. Yeah, so that's your central weight. Yeah, so that'll be nothing and that'll be nothing. So that will give you 2 crenellations here. And we'll just do the same here, hopefully better, so I'll do it again. So it's a mark, mark, and that'll be nothing. 2, and that'll be nothing. So coming with a mark here, 2 and 1. Yep, there we go, wait. Yep, it's so confusing doing this, I can't wait till I've done this. Yeah, so there we go. So there's our 3 crenellations at the top, which matches our design here. And then we've got these bits here for the tower, which will be 4 centimeters and come off about 0.5 centimeter. So what we're going to have here is almost like whereas these are 2, this is going to be 1.5 centimeters crenellation. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to cut these out and do this on the others. The principle is going to be the same on the shorter bits because you're measuring out from the center. So as long as you found that center, we're all gravy. Right, let's get these crenellations cut out before they drive me even more mad. So I'm just going to cut out the bits that I've scribbled on. These are small bits. One down, many to go. At this stage you want to put the bricks on. Quick note, we'll flip this over so all the markings are on the inside. Now we can do this using tried and tested technique of carving a bricking with some sort of tool. But I don't fancy that, it's quite a large area and they've got the towers to do and some other bits and pieces. Don't fancy that. And plus, looking at the castle here, that's quite an intricate brick pattern and I want it to sort of match that, and also want it to be looking like Rochester Castle, and you can see that's quite intricate, pretty much matches that, so that would take forever. So turned over to this is a texture roller. This one's from Green Stuff World and it's a lump of plastic, heavy lump of plastic actually, with a brick pattern carved into it. And what this will do is I've done a test piece here, give a brick pattern onto it and done how it would come out with hand. You can see it's much more intricate. So yeah, this is me trying to carve it by hand, much more intricate. I've painted it up just to see how it goes. I think this will need a wash. We'll get onto the painting later on, but I painted this ages ago and I was really pleased with this, but I think I washed it looking at it, brown and black wash, so I'll probably add that in. But you can see it's quite a good match for the bricks, the pattern of the bricks. So it looks really cool. So yeah, great. All I've got to do is figure out how to use it. Obviously, you roll it. But I can see I'm going to have to do multiple rolls. I'd like a big, massive rolling pin one, you know, like baking rolling pin size of that, but ho-hum. So I'm going to have to do it in 3 sections. And I'm going to want to I might have to come in by hand and put some bits in, but the main important thing here is to get it straight, I guess. There's nothing left to do but to do it, I guess. Shall I? Let's go for it. What's the worst that can happen? I need to get the end bits in, so without, as long as I don't move it, I can go backwards and forwards a few times. But you've got to push in quite hard, so I'd recommend taking your time, because it's still going to be quicker than carving them by hand. Just put a load of pressure on it. Probably not coming out on camera, but it's looking lovely. Only got one pass at this, because if you go over it again, you're gonna never match up the bricks. I'm gonna roll off the end now. Yeah, I didn't get enough here, so I'm gonna put caution to the wind and just do a little roll here. Yeah, that's alright. There's still a bit here that I could do. I knew this would go horribly wrong. Put a little brick pattern in there. That's alright. Most of the time the tower's going to go along here anyway, so yeah, groovy. Brick pattern. Ah, yay. Okay, so my thinking is now, there's going to be a seam here. I'm going to have to try and do something like that. But we now need to. This second one came out even better. If I share some more tips, I put guidelines in, really light pencil guidelines, so it doesn't really dig into the foam. Now 14 centimeters apart. And another tip, nearly there, is stand up and do it. So stand up, you can get more weight behind it, and just make sure that that's running along the length of my guideline. If you stand up, you can put all your weight in and get it looking really cool. If you're going a bit wonky, which I'm not, but if you were, you can adjust yourself by the guideline. At this stage, as long as you don't move it, you can keep going backwards and forwards. And then I can come along here and just utilise my guideline there and repeat the process. And this will help get straighter lines, and the standing up, make sure you get a deeper impression. So you check the guideline. I'll put all my weight on it. I think this is meant to be used for clay and materials like that, but yeah, you can see here, nice straight lines now. Brilliant. Okay, that's 4 walls tiled. Can't tell you how much I love this tool. It's a time saver. Murder on the old palms though, but ho hum. I'm just going to do a bit of tidying up on this groove here. I think you're going to see this groove in the end anyway. I'm going to call it a feature. So before we glue it all together, I want to cut out all the windows, just makes sense. So I'm just working those out, but also the keep has buttresses on, so that's what I'm working out as well. So the longest bits, the 20 centimeter bits, are going to be sort of this bit here and the one that's on the back, and the shorter bit's going to be here. So this one has 2 buttresses, that one only has 1. So what I've done is I've worked out, so this bit here will become this wall. So I worked out where the tower is going to go over the top on this. That's 3.5 or 3.5 roughly, and then the buttresses run down from the Crenellations, so I've just marked those. That means this area in here, here, and here will be for windows for this bit. So this is one of the thinner bits. This just has a crenellation down the middle. So I've got that here, and this, where it's shorter, is only like 3.5 ish. It's not exact, but it's just going to tell me not to put any windows right up against here. And it looks like there's 3 windows in here a piece. I don't know if I'll have time, the skill to do 3. It might only have 2. The other one will have 1. The other picture, the other walls, I have to look at the pictures. So the other wall that is here is this one here, and so like this bit, it just has a single buttress, so I can do that. But the wall that is here, so going behind here, it's a bit of a weird one. I guess it's where, I don't know whether to do 2, because I guess it's where this rounded tower was put on later, because this whole section here collapsed, all this area here. So I'm wondering if that came down with it, whether I should put it in, because I'm trying to base it on before it collapsed. So I think I'm going to put a buttress in here. So I'm going to draw that in, and then work out where the windows are, how many windows we're going to have. And for this, I'm sort of looking at this, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors. I'm having one towards the top, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll work out and get back to you. So I'm working out where I want the windows and the door to be. So the door entrance is raised up here, so that's going to be, I'm going to make it 6 centimeters, because then that's 10 stairs going up. This wall game's not going to be accurate. And I've sort of roughly worked out where I want a window, and I know I'm going to make them about 2 centimeters high. So this is raised off just under 8. Then it's going to be 2 centimeters high, and then each floor is going to have 3.5 centimeters and 2 centimeters, 3.5, 2, 3.5, and then 2. And it's actually 4 floors, because this down here isn't included as a floor. Well, I guess it's a dungeon type thing. But yeah, looking at the book here, we've got the first floor, which is here, the second floor, which is around here, and then we've got a mural gallery, which is here, and then the third floor, which is this one up here, and then battlements, which is, I've also marked out here, that's where the battlement floor is going to go. So Hugo can stand there and look out. So roughly that's where one floor would be, 2, 3, and that's where it's going to get in down here. So what I'm going to do is mark all these out properly, do a window here, so there'll be 4 floors of windows, and I might put a little window into the, if you can see down the bottom, in what will be dungeon ground keep bit here. Might put a couple here, but yeah, I'm gonna just mark out and cut the windows. So I've worked out where the windows are going to go, so based upon this picture here. So these windows here are going to be down here. One thing I should note is, once I cut these out, this section here may cover them, so I'm still going to cut them out just so I know they're there, just in case it comes to here. You can still see they do have windows in this section, middle section here. So that's that. This section here is this wall section, so you have arrow slits at the bottom, same with this, and bigger windows at the top. On here we just have 1 arrow slit in the middle, but then the next floor up you have 3 here, and then 3 windows in each section, and they're bigger, which makes sense because being as castle we don't have electric lights, you want as much daylight as possible, and on the lower floors you wouldn't want these because they would pose a security risk, as it were. You want arrow slits just so you can shoot arrows at any incoming invaders. and they can't shoot one back at you. So I'm going to do the others and cut these out. So I've made a little mistake on the back, so just don't do this. Where I've measured the guidelines out for where I'm going to put the windows in, which are now cut out, I wasn't meant to go this far up because this actually needs to be textured, because you're going to see this here. And what I've done is I've marked here where the floor would go, so this bit here shouldn't have these guidelines in. It's not too much of a problem, but I'm just going to quickly come in now and just put a texture on this bit here. What you can do if you want is just carefully run it over the Crenellations to put a bit of texture in, or do it by hand later on. So yeah, that's that done now. I just didn't want the guidelines show. Windows cut out, that's that done. So now there's quite a bit we've got to do before we can assemble. As I said, there's going to be a battlement walkway around the top, like a square going all the way around, and that's where this is going to go. We'll get Hugo out, you can see that that'll be the top of it, so we can sort of see out and be protected. But I want, rather than just gluing this straight onto here, I thought I'd give it something to adhere to as well. So I'm just going to glue a strip of foam underneath. So if I've got a square bit, so yeah, I'm going to have a bit of foam here that the walkway would glue onto here and here to give it a bit of strength. Could do it that way, but no, I'm going to do it like this. So for now, I'm going to run some glue along and just put it on the underneath of the line I've measured out, like so. So this is a 20mm one, so it goes pretty much all the way across. On the smaller bits, it doesn't, because this is going to fit like so. So this bit will go here, so it doesn't need to go across all the way along. Like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue all these on, leave them to dry, and then we're going to paint the inside black. Okay, so I've made a couple of mistakes. I'm just going to quickly try and rectify. When I said this bit goes all the way across, it doesn't come in about a centimetre, half centimetre. So, because this bit goes behind it like so, that's not too bad, easily rectified. The actual major mistake I've made is I've made this whole bit too long. This is the height of the actual towers. This is 32.5 centimeters, and it should be 28. It's not too bad. This is my mistake because I measured that. That should be 28. See here, I've written 28 down here twice, so I've just been an idiot and looked at my drawings wrong. It's not too bad. We'll rectify this. Not going to affect too much. It's just going to, the window positions now won't be as accurate as they once were, but it's still close enough. So all I'm going to do is measure 28 from the top down to the bottom, and we're just going to cut this bit away. The worst part is this bit here. I'm going to have windows out of the ground, but I might do something with them. I might just either disguise it with a rock in front or something, but this bit's at the back, so you won't see that, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, this is the height of the tower, and the reason I found this out because I was just coming to measure the towers to cut out and realised, they're the same size as the keep, and I am an idiot. So that's the back bit. So this is the front where the stairs are. The stairs are going to cut 3 centimeters. That's right, we're still below the windows. If I can grab a picture. yeah, the stairs are still coming below. It's just not going to have as much height here. So mine's going to be more that where the windows start. Ho hum, it is what it is. I did say this wasn't going to be too scale. It's more just capturing the look of it. And then make sure here. This will be where the gatehouse goes. Number 28. Up to 6. So that's where the door goes. Yeah, that's we're just gonna. So 21. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. These window positions with the gatehouse might be a bit off on this one, but it is what it is. So I'm just gonna fix this, cut these to size, and then I'm gonna cut the towers off when I'm leaving this to dry. So what I've done here is just painted the inside black already, just because it'll be easy to do now rather than later, and you will see a bit of the inside. And I'm just going to make the battlement walkway. So that's just made from a square of foam that's the same width as the smallest part of the wall. So that's 19 centimeters minus 2 mil. So 19 centimeters, 8 millimeters. And that this will also give it stability when you're gluing it together, give it something to stick onto, and you do that just to see it. And what I'm going to do now is mark out a square that I'll cut out for the sort of M-shaped roof. It'll go here, and the walkway will go all the way around, and that's going to be 3 mil because it's going to be 4 mil for a tower, but the tower sort of sticks out sort of 6 mil here, so it's going to be 3 mil the walkway. So if I just quickly do that now, 3 mil, 3 centimeters. I'm not very good with metric, I prefer inches, but ho hum. So this will be sort of the width of the walkway here, which is enough for one model, which is kind of what you want on a battlement walkway. So what I'll do is I'm going to mark this out, cut it out. Right, it's all cut out, and I kind of wish I had a cobblestone roller, but I'm going to use this one again because you can see in the picture here that I took a few years back, it's got quite a cobblestone texture, so I'm just going to come in with this, and I'm going to do I'm going to make it vertical here and here. So push in this one. I think this will get me out of a bit of a jam with it. I'm going to do that side. Ideally I prefer cobblestone, but needs must. I've only got so much money to spend on all these projects. And even then, if you ask my wife, I spend too much money on them. So I'm just going to come down, roll down and do this one. That looks good. And I am loving these rollers. I will be getting more in time, I think. Boom, look at that. Great. And we look at constructed diagrams from how it would look. It's got this, what they call a roof in the shape of an M. So here, but you can see there's some little, so it's got these, so we're going to make 2 roofs, but we're going to need a little wall going underneath the walkway. Well, my mistake I made earlier on, where I had to trim the walls off, that's going to come in handy now, because I trim these to size, cut them down to about 3 centimeters, I think, and I'm just going to glue them in underneath here all the way around, and I'll then tidy up the, I'm actually to see if I can do that with rolling now. Actually, can I do this? Yeah, you can. There you go. I'm not going to come in and do a texture, I'm just going to do that and have a texture there. But yeah, just stick this here like so, and then a bit of chipboard underneath the size of this hole, and then we'll make the roof and we'll stick it in. So what I've got here is, on the underside I've got 4 strips that I cut out from my mistake. 2 strips are the length of the hole, and 1 strip's the length of the hole and thickness of 2 of these. I'm just going to glue these into place there, like so. And these are 1 centimetre thick, giving a total level of 1.5 centimetres. And once this is done, I'm going to cut out a bit of chipboard, black chipboard, that will cover the gap like so. And then once that's all glued and dried, we can turn it over and build the end roof. Yep, so in the end I used a glue gun to get this all in place. It was just too fiddly, so rather happy with it. Just worked out that I'm going to be dividing it into half, so I'm going to make this, put some 2 end roofs in. How I'm doing this, it's a bit of chipboard that's the same length as this hole, which is just under 13 centimetres. It's 9 centimetres across, divided in half, scored down, fold, and this will get glued in here. I'll be using the glue gun for that for sure. But I just got a cover, because the roof is raised, I'm going to have this hole, so I'm just going to glue these in, again probably with a hot glue gun I think, just for quickness, so I'm going to do that now. And just because I think you're going to see this bit through the windows, I'm just going to come in and just coat it in black now. I'll do this as well, just in case you see it through the windows. Don't want to see any of this pink stuff. So I'm going to be gluing it now. I'm going to choose PVA glue for this, not hot glue gun. As you probably know, I'm not a fan of hot glue guns. It's sort of terrible state I've got in just now. One thing to note is as well, this has to run towards the front of the building with the this bit here on the side. So I've just got to make sure that goes down to here. So what I've done is run a bead of glue down here, bead of glue along there and along the support bit there. Same here. So I'm just gonna hopefully glue this in. And what we're gonna do as well is we are going to use pins just to pin it in so it's flat. Need to get it level. Another reason why I like PVA glue is it gives me plenty of working time. So I'm going to put that in. Let's put one in here. And we'll have a third, maybe even a fourth. So get on with 3. Just hold it in. Sure that's down. Okay, and that is it. First part in. Maybe a bit of touching up on my cuts up here, or is there? Because there's going to be a towel going over it, so I don't need to worry too much. What I do need to do though is get this all in like so. So what I'm going to do is, it's got a bit of weight on it with that. I'm going to glue this, and I'm going to glue the backing, this bit here. That's interesting. But what I'm not going to do is, it's because I'm doing it the wrong way, I'm not going to glue one of the sides, I'm going to leave one side open, so I'm just going to do that now. Now I did say I wasn't going to put the other wall on, because I wanted to do something inside. I shall reveal in a moment, but I think there's enough room here for me to work inside so I can put things in. So I'm going to glue this in just to get this built. I'll probably regret this and cry later on, but I'm going to get it glued in. Pretty much the same as I've done here, and I'm going to let this dry overnight. Okay, so I wasn't planning on doing this when I first started this project, but I'm going to split it up into two parts because this has already gone on long enough, I think, for one touring video. It's a bigger project than what I thought, and I wanted to cover as much detail as possible, so we're going to leave it here at this stage and continue next time. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I really hope you watch the next part because this has come out spectacular. I really like this in the end. So yeah, please do watch part 2 when we sort of complete the castle and get to the get it looking really cool. So see you then, guys.